Bill, on 3.com. It is Steve Sipple. Good morning.
Hey, Jake.
How are you guys doing? I just got to tell you right now, just excuse my voice. I sound worse than I am. I feel fine.
Okay. You got a little stuffed up. You got a little cold. You got to get rid of before you go to New York City?
Yeah, it seems like a lot. Is it going around in your state, going around Omaha?
Yes. We've, it's actually gone around the station a little bit. So nobody's immune.
I am. I have an elite immune system, actually. My doctors have told me that I have immune system of an iron bar. So, I tell you, Steve, don't pass it on to me, but I really don't have to worry about it.
Matt, welcome to the show. It's right away. You know you're accomplishing this world when you can say the words, my doctors. Wow. My doctors.
I'm a grown-up now, Sipple.
What's that?
I'm a grown-up now. I'm not that 19-year-old kid at the press conference anymore. I'm a grown-up with my own show and my own doctor.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Sip. I appreciate it, my man. True professional, Steve Sipple.
Hey, before we talk some Nebraska ball, let me ask you this, because you know the inner workings of how he works. Why is Scott back at Central Florida?
I don't. Here's why, in my opinion. The conversations I had with him that were more extensive in nature before he came to Nebraska were largely about hard to leave here because of the recruiting base. There's a lot of factors, but you think about the kind of style of offense he runs, or he ran. We'll just say he ran down there before. You needed a lot of skill. You need fast, skilled players. Pretty much every offense does some more than others, though, right? And he loved that aspect of it. And then I always would tell people when it became apparent that the Nebraska job was going to open back then, and that Frost was available, I always try to counsel people, this isn't a no-brainer. It's going to be a very tough decision for him. And I always was struck by people's reaction. It was tough for him to leave. He loved it there. And he liked not being the center of attention. Some coaches handle that part of the world better than others. Their world. Mm-hmm. It's that's not a world that everybody wants, to be the center of attention all the time. And so he can disappear in Orlando. He couldn't disappear in Lincoln. But those were two of the things.
Sip, I'm going to say I'm not going to fully bring Gary along in this, but I'm calling the Pinstripe Bowl the end of the first chapter of the Matt Rule era here in Nebraska. Okay, I'm calling it just the end. What is in that first chapter, in the first two seasons of the Matt Rule era, what do you think is the most important decision that he's made?
Ooh, God dang, that put me on the spot. The most important decision. There's a lot of decisions.
Yes. A lot to choose from.
I hate to say it, but I don't know what you're looking for. If you're looking for positive or negative.
Oh, you can positive or negative. Positive or negative.
Decision was a big one. If you're talking before the fact, just the hire. Anytime you put together a staff, there's huge decisions there. Now, if you're talking about recent vintage decisions, the ones you just made were big, and you could. Yeah. Phil Snow, John Butler, those are huge decisions. We don't know how it's going to play out, though. So yeah, I don't know. There's so many. There's maybe I think of life a little differently than you.
Sure.
In covering head coaches, they make big decisions all the time. Yeah. So it's hard for me to. Okay. I guess what I'm saying, Matt, it's hard for me to pick out one.
Okay. So let's pivot here. Let's pivot to this. When we look back at the Matt Rule era, okay, let's just look back at it all, right? When it's all going to be said and done, whenever it is going to be, how monumental do you think the hiring of Dana Holgorsen is going to be?
Depends how long
Yeah.
he's here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Whether like how like despite the end, are we gonna is this? Do you think the decision to hire Dana Holgerson to bring him in, is this going to be like the coup de grace? What we're going to look back on, whether he's successful or unsuccessful?
I'm not willing to go that far.
Okay.
Just because I don't know how it's really. I look at college football so much differently than I did 5 years ago
Sure.
or 4 years ago. Everything seems kind of fly by night. I don't know. My guess is Holgerson won't be here very long. If you get him for a year, maybe you'll get him for a year for sure. And then I don't know about after that.
Okay.
So I don't know. I can't say that was the most important decision Rule has made because I have no idea how it's going to work out.
Sure.
And I have no idea how long he's going to be here. So I can't say it. I just don't. It could be a very impacting decision.
Yeah.
I just want to make clear. I love that acquisition. I think it could be incredibly important, but I'd have to know what it looks like in year one, and I'd have to know if there's a year two.
Are the chairs done moving, you think, with Matt's staff, or should we expect something post-Pinstripe Bowl?
No, I don't think the chairs are done moving. I mean, there's a secondary coach to hire, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's one thing. I think there could be other moves, or there just could be other guys that move on. And sometimes those are gray. Sometimes those things kind of overlap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's someone who moves on, but it was quietly suggested. I always use the example of Sean Watson at Nebraska, where remember that Matt's a little young for this, or way too young for this, but Sean Watson was here for a long period of time when he was actually not here. He was actually not really. It was a very interesting situation. Bo Pelini, the former head coach, was very. I mean, he handled those matters in a very palatable fashion for those coaches. It was basically, hey, find a job. I'll keep you on until you find one. That's what. And you might see some of that here.
Yeah, isn't that called professional courtesy by a guy that doesn't want to put his, somebody he brought here to work for him on blast, so he lets them have some professional courtesy where they just kind of drift away, or somebody else comes and gets them a job, or you help them. You help them get a job, you help them get an interview at a school that maybe is closer to where they're familiar with.
Professional courtesy is a perfect way to put it. And some of that may be going on right now here.
Yeah. I think that's you two guys hit it right on the head. Sip, it's so interesting. I think we're kind of seeing this in real time, the now use of the portal, right? For leverage, where you have guys hopping into the portal and then hopping back on the team. How do you look at this? Do you think this was a leverage thing from Davis and Johnson, or do you think there was an actual want to hop in and then maybe they realized it wasn't as great as what they anticipated? And just in general, are you kind of a fan of players doing this, of kind of bluffing the portal and then, to get whatever concessions they may or may not have and then go back?
I'll answer the fan thing in a second.
Okay.
I don't think it was it's hard. These questions are hard because they're not always absolutes. Like, I don't know that I can say Emmett Johnson went into the portal as a leverage play. It could have been more than that. It probably was. I'm sure it was more than that, actually. It can become a leverage play.
Yeah.
Keona Davis, my read is it wasn't just a pure leverage play.
Agree.
And then there's the other discussion about what are you leveraging.
Sure.
It could be money. It also could be playing time. And the guys do that. But I don't know that it was that blatant. It is that blatant with some guys.
Sure.
I guess the best answer I could give you is it is blatant with some guys. I don't think it was blatant with those guys.
Okay.
Now, do I like it? I don't know what I like. I don't know. I guess no. I don't like. I don't like just what's how the best way to put it is
You don't like current
unlimited.
day college football the way the NIL and the portal.
No, unlimited free agency.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't. No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I'm okay.
It's
with
okay though to say it, Sip, that this is.
It's not a hot take.
Yeah, this isn't great. This isn't fun to cover.
No, it's not.
Unlimited free agency is really troubling.
Yeah.
I never know what to say about who came up with this idea. You never. It's not an answer. You can't. I don't know how it sprung up. And who thought this was going to be a good idea?
Well, I don't think it was necessarily one person though. Like it kind of just happened, right? Like the courts made decisions and things became legal, and then all of a sudden the NCAA didn't have a grip on it. But the problem is, Sip, no one has grabbed it back. No one has put their hand back on the wheel yet in terms of the stuff.
Oh, and everybody plays the NCAA card. I get that. I don't think it was the NCAA's idea. They didn't get a handle on it. Then it got out of control in the courts.
Yeah.
And when you leave it to the courts, they don't understand what this stuff is. And so now we're just in a colossal mess, really.
Hey, Dana last week said we're going to be aggressive in the portal. Rule has kind of reiterated that. But Dana's was more, we might have 10 to 20 guys, and Rule was like, eh. So when you think of, and there's some intriguing candidates that are actually setting up visits for Nebraska. I mean, I sat and watched Jack McAllister punt the football from Washington because he's going to visit. And I mean, you got to replace Buschini, and there's no guarantee with Cook. But Phoenix Jackson was supposed to visit yesterday, and he's a guy that would have fit well at linebacker for Nebraska. He's from Fresno State. But before he ever got to Lincoln, and he never got to Lincoln, NIL got involved, and he committed to Auburn. How aggressive do you think Nebraska will be in selling playing time spots, or will they be more aggressive with NIL? How do you think their approach will be as they try and fill some depth and some holes on the roster?
Well, I think they'll have to be aggressive. They will be aggressive. As far as which do you sell, I don't think you have to make a distinction. I think you sell the whole package. It's a really, again, it kind of flows. These conversations flow into one another. The sort of the anarchy conversation that we just covered flows into this one pretty well, because what you see is some guys announce they're going to a school. They'll announce it on Twitter, and that's news to the sitting head coach. This guy's busy. I didn't even know this guy's visiting us. I mean, it's really wild, and it's kind of ridiculous in a way to cover it. Some of it's pretty real. Some of it's incredibly phony. So I don't know how to answer your question, except Nebraska better get some guys. They need some guys. I'd say, you guys talk about it all the time. Everybody knows the needs. I'd say you better get a couple receivers. You're always looking for big guys on both sides. On the offensive line, I got to think minimum of 2, and I think tackles should be an emphasis. Doesn't have to be, but it would be good. You really got hit at linebacker. So that the player from Fresno made sense to me, but although he wasn't, if you watched him at all, you would not say, "Oh my God, you can't live without that guy." Now, I will say this: really good linebackers aren't that easy to find. So when you lose John Bullock and Javin Wright and Mekhi Bayer, you got hit. You better find somebody. Shavers will stay. I know there was some stuff that cropped up about Vincent Shavers, but those Florida guys are pretty much locked in. McGahee, Barney, Sanders, they're locked in from what I can tell and what I've heard. But yeah, they got to. Nebraska. Come on, everybody has to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody has to be aggressive. So Nebraska will be aggressive.
Yeah. Sip, as always, we appreciate. When are you and the boys headed to New York City?
We are leaving on Christmas Day late out of Lincoln. So we have a dinner time flight out of Lincoln.
Yeah.
All right. You looking forward to it? You ever been to New York City?
Yeah, I was there for when Eric Kraut
Oh.
won the hot.
Oh,
So that was 2001, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the trip.
you got a margarita spot over there?
Hell no, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, all I really care about is like a good, nice, warm, deep dish pizza. That's
A
really
deep dish pizza? You're not getting deep dish out there, Sip. You're getting New York thin crust slice.
Is that what you get? Don't they have good deep
No,
dish?
deep dish is Chicago. You're going to New
Well, I know
York.
it's Chicago, but I thought
No,
do that in New York, too.
no, pal. You got it. You're getting a thin triangle cut, extra crispy. Go to Joe's
Okay.
or John's. Anything with a J, just eat pizza there.
Okay, anything with a J, and I do like thin crust, so I'm
Yeah.
good there.
Anything with a J, you're in the right spot.
God bless you, Matt.
Hey,
Thank you.
thank you, Sip.
All right, take care, guys.